Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Satnam, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay. Something so funny happened right before I started. I sat here, and it's been a long day. I don't know if you guys got an opportunity to check out the podcast that was just released with Robert Grant. If you did not, make sure to go check it out. I had so much fun doing that podcast, and it was just magic. It's been magic ever since. And so all day, literally, my phone is blowing up, and I've never experienced that before. So I'm like, whoa. And, but it's obviously so beautiful and so magical and so exciting, so many new things. And so much growth and expansion and quantum leaps. And I'm really experiencing it in my life right now, like hardcore, in a good way, in a really positive way. And I turned on the thing that I usually do, and then I accidentally hit go live. It was just sitting there live. And I was like, and I looked at it and I was like, huh. And then I'm like, oh, oops. So I had to sit down and start. I wasn't fully ready, but it was so funny that happened. And I'm like, okay, it's been a long day. I'll have to trim the first part of the video just to make sure that, people aren't just sitting there waiting and waiting for it to start. But I am super happy to be here tonight because we are going to be diving into the astrology of the new moon in Pisces that is happening on Thursday, February 27th of 2025. And we are also starting the Moon Goddess training on this new moon. So if you are interested, I always pick a new moon to start the Moon Goddess training on. And last year, the same thing happened as this year, where I had originally wanted to start on the new moon in Aquarius because it is the Lunar New Year. And that didn't happen, and it got pushed to the new moon in Pisces. And the same thing happened this year, but this year was really crazy because I had originally planned to start on the 29th of January on the new moon in Aquarius, and I got invited to go to Egypt. And then I was like, oh my God, by Robert Grant as faculty to his 144 Alpha Omega expedition that I just got back from. And I had to move again, the Moon Goddess training, but it's all in divine timing. And I do feel like this Pisces energy is such a powerful force right now, especially because the nodes just entered into Pisces and Virgo, and this new moon, as we're going to talk about, is activating very intensely the nodes, especially the North Node, and it's ushering us into eclipse season. It all kind of fell into place, and that's been my experience of the last few like the last year basically, and just surrendering to watching it all fall into place has been amazing. And so this Thursday we initiate ourselves in the Moon Goddess training. I'll initiate you into the initiatic path along the Nile, and this is the mystery schools of ancient Atlantis. This is the magic of the cosmos coming together to guide us on a beautiful journey. So I know that I shared a little bit about it. So I'm just fixing my camera. Shared a little bit about it on the podcast with Robert Grant, but I would actually love to go into a little bit more detail here really quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, about what the program is and what you can look forward to. So if you already signed up, this is what you can look forward to. And if you haven't yet, this is more information that you can get about it. So this program is my most comprehensive program that I offer. People have been signing up for readings with me and wanting to look at their astrology, their gene keys, and their human design. And then some people have been asking me, actually quite a bit of people have been asking me, like, can we do another session and to dive deeper or to continue the story? And I've been telling people, I'm like, I do have this amazing built-in experience that both teaches you your astrology, your gene keys, and your human design, how to fully step into your design, along with a million other topics, which I'll kind of go over in a second. And it includes all of this, and you're guided through it. And it's a beautiful group experience where we do it together, called the Moon Goddess Training. And so people have been going and looking at this information, because literally, if you want to be guided through the entire experience of how to fully embody your true self, your unique design, this is the program to do it. And of course, it's like a women only program. And I know guys have been asking me to have something similar, but for now, this is the gift that I am offering to the world. And, of course, I love working with women, and we create such beautiful space. And I do feel we're stepping into a powerful activation of the sacred divine feminine, but also the merging of the feminine and the masculine, and learning to become and step into our empowered selves is key to entering into the Aquarian age in right alignment. So we are still at the cusp, we're basically in the Aquarian age, but we're experiencing the transitional period between the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius. So in order for us to fully, activate ourselves in the age of Aquarius, this is what we need to do. So if you feel the call and you want to dive deep, because this is a year-long program, 3 levels, you ultimately are learning the natural progression of this. And nobody knows this, and I don't really talk about this too much, but we do in the Moon Goddess training. When you step into your unique design, you learn how to read the Akashic records. And naturally, the process unfolds. So in essence, it's a certification. Level 3 is the official certification to learn how to read the Akashic records. But really, you are learning the entire time, especially in level 1, what are the records? How do you communicate with them? What is the way that we communicate with the records? All the foundational information that you need to do that. And then eventually you learn how your unique design lends itself to read the information around you. And it has to do with your aura. It has to do with your strategy, your authority, your gifts, your shadows, your gifts and your cities in your gene keys. And it has to do with everything in your astrology, your North Node, your moon, your psychic abilities, your Neptune, and we study all of it. So there's no way that you won't learn how to speak with the world, meaning the Akashic of the universe. And that's why it's like, okay, I guess we're just becoming certified as Akashic record reader. And the unique way that I teach that is by you stepping fully into your design, because we are all capable of it. And you have a unique way of receiving and tuning into and interpreting information. And we're just like uncovering all of that and deconditioning the fear and the insecurity behind that. And this is really what this program is all about. So it is phenomenal. Cannot recommend it more. So some of the things we learn, we are initiated into the ancient mystery schools of Hathor, ancient Atlantis, so that we learn how to activate our sacred space as we step into our sovereignty in the Aquarian age. We learn how intuition works, how to access it, how to find our psychic gifts in our natal chart. We learn the essence of embodying the sacred divine feminine and how to take care of ourselves by setting healthy boundaries in our lives. This is so important. We learn our astrology and gene keys. Level 1 is the activation sequence. Level 2 is the Venus. And level 3 is the Pearl sequence. And there is a progression where you activate first, you heal second, and you turn on prosperity and abundance. That's the flow of the gene keys. But it takes time, and having someone to help guide you through the process and having a group where you are doing it together. There's nothing that can describe how much growth happens within the community that we create together. So, and then you're learning your astrology, learning about things like what type of cosmic goddess you embody, understanding the asteroids in your charts, understanding Venus, what Venus phase you were born under, what Venus star points you embody, and so on and so forth. And we learn moon magic, what the moon phases are in continuation with the astrology, how to manifest with the moon. This beautiful concept that I learned through Kundalini yoga about the moon centers of the woman. And I've discovered 2 new moon centers. And so we learn what the moon centers are, how to identify them. And they basically are connected and linked to emotional frequency and expression within you. So we tie it into, there's these moon centers that we experience. You learn your flow. We learn to journal about it. We learn to tune into the energy. And the whole time you're like learning all of these amazing tools that will help you stay present, conscious, aware in your life. And it will change everything around you, because when you step into divine alignment, it's like a ripple effect outwards through the auric field that changes your life around you. And that's how it works. It's like you don't attract people in your life that you want. You attract people in your life that you are. So if you want to have, I just had a session today with this beautiful woman, and the question of like relationship always comes up quite often in readings. And I always tell people, you need to be the person that is going to attract the right person to you. Because sometimes what we want, we don't realize it's not the right thing for us. It has to do with these like belief systems that we have. It has to do with these like ideas, like the conditioning. I'm like, do you even realize that you are calling in something that's not in alignment for you? And what would it feel like if you actually became the person that you need to be to attract the right person for you? Magic. Okay. Transformation. We learn how to create our own moon goddess altar and how to work with altars and ritual and sacred ceremony. We do a 40-day meditation for all 3 levels. So you're like doing Kundalini yoga, which is an ancient practice known to have been channeled from the Akashic records and activate you at like body, mind, spirit level. Kundalini yoga can be very quick acting and transformative. So we do Kundalini yoga during the entire program. So all year long, you're like doing the practice. So you're getting like the mental stimulation with the, the topics of Hermetic alchemy, like 7 laws of the universe, dimensions, sacred geometry, the chakras, and how to apply this information into our lives. And at the same time, you're getting the physical experience. So it's all body, mind, spirit, and that's the Trinity. And you need all 3 of them. You can't just be all mind. You can't just be all body, and you can't just be all in your heart. Like you need to use everything together. And that's what we learned to do. So I could go literally on and on. We did an entire podcast with Ashley, who is a graduate from the Moon Goddess training. And we talked all about the program, how it can help you step into your unique self and empower you. And but I'm not going to continue going on and on and on because we have to talk about the astrology of the new moon. But this is how excited I am about this, you guys. This year is the year you want to come and join us. I mean, it's going to be full on activation, and we start on the new moon in Pisces. So great segue, because this energy is the initiation of the moon goddess training. So let's dive into what does this new moon represent. Also, well, let me say hi to everybody because I always love to do that. So welcome in, Rebecca. Hello, Bernadine. Hello, Tanya from Florida. Alejandra, good to see you. Mary, she says, I loved your interview with Robert Grant. You mentioned The Last Mimsy, one of my favorite movies. To watch it again, I love it. That is one of my favorite movies too. That one and The Fifth Element. Nelly is in the house. So happy to see you guys. And if you are here, say hi in the chat. Babe is here. My husband, Donald Stout. Love that. Yes. And Dawn is here as well. And did I say hi to Rebecca? Hello, Rebecca. So exciting. Okay. So if you didn't know, I wrote a book called Seasons and Stargates. I'm working on the next version, which is next year's. It's going to be coming out a little late because just, life. I tried. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually have it available. And at first, the first couple of months, it's going to be a PDF download. And while it's being completed and processed and created and made with the program that I use, the company that I use, and but we are going to, because the first few chapters are already done. But we're going to dive into a new year together, starting with Aries, because that is the first season of the astrological year. That's the correct timing that we should be watching and observing. And it is also what we do in the Starseed membership. We follow the astrological year together. Hello, Jeanette. Welcome in. And Kuan, welcome in as well. So this new moon in Pisces we're looking at the book, basically, is why I wanted to introduce that. This is the book that I wrote, Seasons and Stargates. And this is us looking into the information of this new moon in Pisces. So the energy of the new moon, which is happening February 27th at 9 degrees, 40 minutes of Pisces, is the first new moon that we're having in Pisces with the North Node in Pisces. And that is very significant because when the nodes change signs, it is a new collective theme for the next 18 years. 18 months. That was savage. 18 months. Information is coming through really fast right now. So I was I can't talk fast enough, and I'm a mental projector. So I'm trying to slow it down. But if I slow it down, anyways, so the nodes changing signs. I'm going to close my eyes. I can see better with my eyes closed anyways. Creates a new collective theme where we're going to see the eclipses. And that's why this moon is significant, because it is this intense Pisces stellium that's literally turning on the North Node. The North Node's been getting activated since it moved into Pisces, but this new moon, because it is the first new moon we're seeing in the sign of one of the two signs of the nodes, is the official activation. And there's a huge Pisces stellium. And it then officially ushers us into eclipse season. Because 2 weeks from now, I know, right, Dawn? 2 weeks from now, we have a full moon total lunar eclipse in Virgo with the South Node. That one's going to be gnarly. That one's going to be intense because South Node eclipses bring in karmic healing and deeper lessons of letting go and releasing, essentially so that we make space for a rebirth, but they're difficult to move through. So a Pisces moon is all about divine frequency, the higher planes of consciousness, our imagination, psychic abilities, and intuition. These all live in the realm of Pisces. We can dream more profoundly and receive downloads from our higher self and the Akashic. And we are beginning a new journey, a new 28.5 day cycle with the moon. So whatever intention you set on any given new moon will unfold for the rest of the month. So if you're like unaware, walking through life, not realizing that you're creating and manifesting with your thoughts and your vibration and your frequency, what are you intending for your life? The whole point is to learn to manifest consciously with awareness so that you are moving towards something that maybe you actually want instead of not want. And Pisces is that space of spirituality. And so it's a spiritual journey that we have every year with the new moon landing in the sign of Pisces. This new moon activates the chakra above the head and the circulatory system. So it means that it's asking us to go above our physical experience into the spiritual and open up to receive information from the divine frequency. And we have to open ourselves for this to occur. So let's dive into the actual chart. I love giving visual, information. I'm a very visual person. So giving the visual chart on the screen and like writing on it and stuff can be very helpful for a lot of people. So hopefully it is helpful for you. So how do we know that we're having a new moon? Well, you're going to find the sun and the moon in the same exact sign, in the same exact degree, and at the same exact minutes. They're right next to each other. That's what a conjunction is called. So this is the initiation. And whatever is happening astrologically when they are conjunct talks about the theme of the whole month. So what are some of the things that are happening? Obviously, I've been talking about this, but there's a huge Pisces stellium. And a stellium just means 3 or more planets in the same sign. So you've got the sun, the moon, Saturn, Mercury, North Node, and Neptune. And so Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, basically making a conjunction to the North Node just 1 degree away. And that's destiny. That's the call to destiny. Mercury is the mind. He's the hermetic alchemist. He's tapping into the Akashic, basically. Saturn, right there as well. He is teaching us how to find our grounding through the boundlessness of Pisces, because Saturn is always looking for structure. You can't find structure in boundlessness, right? It's like the opposite of structure. But the way that Saturn is able to do this is he knows that there are laws of the universe. There's 7 laws, and that's the structure. So basically, it's like a deep lesson with Saturn and Pisces in understanding how the universe works and how you are creating, manifesting, how everything is unfolding and happening, and why. The cycles, the vibrational frequency, the thoughts, the mind, the action that you see in your life, the causes, the effects, the creativity, like all of these, there's a law for each of the chakras, and we're learning that. It's a lesson that's underlying this frequency of Saturn in Pisces, and he's right here with this new moon. So that means that the strong Pisces energy present is opening our mind, Mercury, guiding us to find the flow, to align ourselves, to align our chakras, and therefore align ourselves and into the laws of the universe, and understand that what we are, we manifest. We're creating. Like our reality is based off what's inside. So the what's outside is a reflection of what's inside, and that's literally what the laws of the universe teach. So we're learning that lesson, stepping into like taking quantum leaps, new timelines. The Akashic is infinite. It's a beginning because it is a new moon, and then we're tapping into intuition and psychic abilities. So your psychic abilities are like very heightened right now. I feel this very strongly in my life, in my own personal life. It's like intuition on crack. I don't know how else to describe it. I like cracking jokes, but it's crazy. And that's what it feels like. Instant manifestation. And I was fully activated when I went to Egypt, especially when I went to the pyramid, and I learned the pyramid magnifies everything. So you need to be careful when you go in there. You can't just like stumble into the pyramid. That was a big lesson. Anyways, the North Node here is we need to move in this direction. This is the arrow pointing at spirituality, intuition, tapping into intuition, understanding your relationship with divine, with God, with your higher self, allowing yourself to feel the boundlessness of the universe and the cosmos, while at the same time grounding yourself in the present. Because on the other side, you have South Node Virgo, which talks about being present. That's the beauty of it. But it also talks about being so here in the moment that you're focusing too much on the details and trying to control everything. So the key with South Node Virgo is stop trying to control everything and open yourself up to the mystery. It's like, what's that quote from the Kung Fu Panda or whatever? It's like, something about the present and the gift. Anyway, it's kind of coming to me, but it's the present, no, life is a gift. That's why they call it the present, something like that. Anyways, that's what I'm feeling right now with this frequency. So you need to be present enough, but not so that you control the details of everything around you, but so that you can bring the divine into the physical. What do we call that? Heaven on earth. That's what we're doing. 22 in the chat. Heaven on earth. The bridge between the divine and the physical. This is the activation with these nodes, this nodal axis. And that's just the stellium and Pisces, right? So let's continue. Okay, now that we have this intense awareness, let's keep adding. So the moon is at 9 degrees, right? The new moon is at 9 degrees. The stellium kind of conglomerates the energy of all these planets, and it makes a trine to, over here, Mars. And it makes a square to Jupiter. Mercury is essentially making a sextile to Uranus. And within orb, Pluto, the planet of transformation, my thing just disconnected, the planet of transformation, death, change, and transformation, is making within orb, a trine to the South Node, all right here, and basically a sextile to the North Node as well. But let's just keep the trine right there. And then at the same time, you have Uranus as well within orb making a trine to the South Node. So what does this mean? I mean, that's kind of a lot. There's a lot going on. So the trine to the really powerful thing about right now, this week in general, is that all planets are direct. When all planets are direct, this is go time. Do not waste your time. It's go time. Everything that you wanted to do, like, this is the week to like do it. Because on Saturday, Venus is going to go retrograde. And then like there's a progression of retrogrades after that for a long time. So when retrogrades are happening, there's a lot of reflecting going on and there's less forward movement. We literally just finished this last weekend, the Mars retrograde, and that was gnarly. That was a gnarly retrograde. Oh my God, the energy of that felt so heavy and so sluggish, but it also felt like a slingshot. I was talking about this to my husband. It felt like a slingshot that was being pulled back and back and back. And because you weren't aware that it was a slingshot, you were like complaining and like, oh God, I can't do anything. Things seem to be going backwards instead of forwards energetically. Projects can't move forward. Things feel like they stopped, like they come to a complete stop, maybe even reverse. It is just like not a fun energy. Mars retrograde, I feel personally, is one of the hardest retrogrades to go through. But then all of a sudden, the energy started to shift and it feels like the slingshot released us and like we're flying forward. At least I feel that in my life. So I mean, hopefully you feel that in your life too. But now that all planets are direct, this is when you can start to move forward. And yeah, Mars is not going to be out of shadow, but you can use the energy to help you move forward. And then when we start to feel the next retrograde, which is on Saturday, the energy will shift again. And we're going to be doing some deep work and relationships. So that's another gnarly retrograde to go through. Like relationships usually end during Venus retrogrades because you realize, that if it's not in alignment, it's not in alignment. And if you try to resist and force it, oh man, it's not going to feel good. And it's really not a time of initiating relationships either. And a lot of times when you initiate a relationship during a Venus freaking retrograde, it's not going to last. And I don't want to be, that guy, but that's essentially the energy of a Venus retrograde. It's not for starting or ending. Well, endings happen naturally because the reflection that happens shows you where you're not in alignment in relationship. But it's not time to start. It's time to reflect and contemplate. So we're going to be going through another freaking, oh my God. And it doesn't slow down this year. It stays intense. But the trine to Mars is activating our psychic ability and intuition through the realm of the emotions. And we should listen to how we feel and listen to our emotions because they are literally guiding the way. That's what's happening there. We are expanding our mind at a level that is unprecedented right now. So if you feel out of it, that's fine. Like I literally did a QHHT session yesterday where something completely unexpected happened, very Uranus. Heather and I tapped into the Orion portal through the Pyramid of Giza in the QHHT session. And it was this whole progression of like activations that I was going through to get me ready to go into the King's Chamber. And when it finally happened, it was like the access was granted. And both of us were like, what just happened? And we were so like stunned that we didn't know what to do with it. But we both felt like we need to go back there again, like activate it, access, and ask questions. Like any question. It was like, what? That's what this portal was telling us. Like, you're supposed to ask questions now. Like, I am available for questions. And it was like, dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like, your mind is expanding beyond just let it happen. Just let it happen. The same thing with Jupiter, Sun square Jupiter and Moon. Jupiter enhances everything that it touches. But when the sun makes any kind of aspect to Jupiter, especially when it's exacted, is stronger, but it's present here in this moon, it means that prosperity and abundance are available, that there's a door that opens up and you should initiate because it's more likely to succeed. It's more likely to manifest. Jupiter aids in the process of that. It's like Santa Claus. Santa Claus gives you gifts and presents, like just comes bearing gifts. That's his energy. Like take the gifts, take it. And that's really beautiful. And we are being guided at the same time to really clear whatever is not in alignment so that we can prepare for the next eclipse, for the eclipse that's coming 2 weeks later. And there's death and rebirth, and there's change, transmutation, and quantum leaps. that need to happen. And so I feel like this is a reflection of all these things that are happening right now. We're being activated. We're being like, there's still 22 in the chat. That's so cool. We're being turned on and like electrified, and like the Kundalini's awakening. And so you got to let those processes happen, and it's going to feel uncomfortable, but it's for a purpose. It's for a reason. We're moving together, right, into the new world. And that's what it feels like right now. It feels like there's all this, we're getting worked on energetically. And if we are able to surrender and go with the flow, we will be at exactly the right place at the right time for all the things that need to be happening in our life. So this moon is very powerful. This moon initiates, ushers us into eclipse season. Eclipse season is a time of change and revolution in our lives, karmic healing. So we're getting ready for that. This is clearing us and helping us tune into the right alignment so that we are able to do that. Everything is a progression of everything else. And I love astrology because of that, because it tells you what is happening. It gives you the map. It orients you in the right direction. And this one is going to the North Node. So it's a spiritual journey. So right now we're letting go, balsamic moon, getting ready for the new moon, contemplating, reflecting, let go of what doesn't serve you anymore. What is in the way of your full, like, spiritual path? You cannot waste your time this week. Please do not waste your time this week. I keep saying that. And it's true. And you should pay attention to that. So we are going to be experiencing this powerful new moon in a couple of days. And we're going to see what it brings to us. And this is the moon that is initiating us onto the Nile, into the ancient temples of Atlantis and Egypt, and helping us to fully step into, like, we are going to be flowing with the node, the North Node in Pisces throughout the whole year in the Moon Goddess training. And I swear to God, I love astrology, but what happens to me is that I get in the moment. And when I'm in the moment, I'm channeling. And I don't even remember half the stuff I say sometimes. Because I'm like I said, the information's coming in faster than I can talk. And I can talk pretty freaking fast because I'm a Gemini. And I'm a mental projector. Like, I could keep up pretty good. But right now it's like lightning speed. So it's going to be a fun times. Fun times. We're not done yet, though, because one thing that I love to do is bringing the wisdom of the gene keys so that we learn to understand everything at a deeper level. These are levels. All of these are levels. So this new moon, is happening on the 37th gene key, which moves from the shadow of weakness to the gift of equality to the city, or the divine gift of tenderness. Like, how beautiful is that? Richard Rudd says this: when we look at the world, it doesn't seem that fair. It doesn't seem as though we're equal. Yet the gene keys are all about genius. And this is where we are equal. We are equal to the task we're given, but only if we don't cave in. This gene key is part of the codon ring of divinity, which gives us a higher understanding, higher conscious understanding of a bigger theme. And this ring of divinity is connected to, it's the 22nd gene key. I keep seeing that number, the 36, the 37, which is the one that this new moon is on, and the 63. Deeply connected to the true meaning of the Christ consciousness, the ring of divinity, and its 4 genetic archetypes have the capacity to awaken the highest consciousness inside you and will bring the eventual manifestation of the full divine being into the world. You can't make this shit up. The ring of divinity reveals a great truth, the 63. All humans are made equal in this suffering, the 37th. Doubt makes us human, the 36th, and leads us to a certain graciousness, the 22nd, in respect of how we treat others. Because of this connection to the 22nd gene key, this codon ring has much to do with the transformation of human awareness through suffering. It will bring intense emotional experiences and challenges to your life. But ultimately, this codon group is about redemption. Redemption. Let's read about this city of tenderness. The sacrificial lamb. To enter fully into the mystery of the 37th city, we will have to move more deeply into the mythic figure of Christ. Although there have been other figures with a similar mythology to Christ, such as the Norse Odin, who was hung from a tree, or even the Egyptian Osiris, whose body parts were scattered far and wide, the figure of Christ and his exact mythology has entered so deeply into the world psyche that it has a particular resonance with the times in which we are living. One needs to be clear from the beginning that we are not talking here of the Christ as he is generally understood by the Christian religion. We are looking at this man's life as a symbol of a deep archetypal process that governs all human beings, regardless of their beliefs or culture. As the second aspect of the mysterious Trinity, the Christ unites the two polarities of masculine, Father, prime Yang, with the feminine, Holy Spirit, prime Yin. This is why Jesus is said to be both the Son of God and the Son of Man. He is the offspring of both Yin and Yang and is therefore the great equalizing force between them. We have seen that the 37th gene key represents an evolutionary phase that is now coming to an end, which means that something new must also be born from it. The Christ myth itself must give birth to another dimension, and this dimension concerns the role of the feminine. Get out. As the story of Christ is currently understood, Jesus is seen as the embodiment of the divine man, born of a virgin womb and untarnished by sexuality. In the popular story, Jesus has no sexual encounter or attachment to women whatsoever. He stands alone as a proud and potent symbol of the patriarchy that sculpted this understanding of his life. However, without wishing to offend exponents of the popular version of the Jesus story, this interpretation of Jesus is somewhat sterile in terms of its connection to human sexuality. In the Christ myth, Jesus is pitted against sexuality in the form of the devil, and the devil has obvious connections to the feminine through the earlier myth of Eve and the serpent in the Garden of Eden. The 37th city is the city of tenderness, and tenderness is a quality most often associated with the exchange of love between a parent and child. Tenderness in particular is the archetypal motherly essence. Jesus himself is universally connected with the figure of the Lamb, whose essence is represented by the 37th city. This Lamb has a deep symbolism with our coming age because it represents the spirit of surrender to an overwhelming inner power. The sacrifice of the Lamb corresponds to the giving up of identification with outmoded outlooks and the embrace of a wider reality that lies beyond our current view. We, humanity, are the Lamb, and the universal spirit holds us in tenderness as a mother cradles her child. As individuals, we each have to bow our heads and accept the devil within us instead of pushing it down deeper into our psyche. The very thing that terrifies us the most will utterly transform us if we can but trust it. It is the source of our sexuality, the dark, feminine shadow place within every human being that contains the greatest mystery of who we are and what we can one day become. Get out! The 37th gene key has emerged into our current world through the sacred sacrament of marriage. It became sullied and stagnant through its manifestation as a social contractual convention. The marriage we see in the world today is but a shadow of the true inner ideal of marriage. On an individual level, marriage concerns the inner balance of union of yin and yang within each human being. The Christ myth must therefore reflect this inner union through the marriage of Christ to his sacred bride, represented by Mary Magdalene. The modern resurgence of ideas that explore Christ's connections to the figure of Magdalene can be seen as a reflection of the resurgence of the repressed divine feminine. This is what we're starting the moon goddess training with, okay? The city of tenderness is the awakened aura of this mystical union, since tenderness is the energy devoid of tension or sexuality. It is, in fact, the transcendence of sexuality. A great paradox is emerging through the 37th city. The divine feminine will primarily enter the world through men via the power of the mother. The collective imbalance of the feminine archetype is not to be found in women, but in men. The counterbalance to this is the rising of the masculine force of independence burgeoning in women. It is through the women's independence that a new social structure will be born in the world that will place the early upbringing of children before all other factors. When children are nurtured by both mothers and fathers are properly supported rather than torn apart due to social tensions, then children will come into the world emotionally balanced. This 37th city of tenderness is the natural climate that surrounds all parents and children. When boys are brought into the world surrounded by this group support and tenderness, their feminine side will no longer be compromised, and the world as we see it will begin to change as the boys grow into emotionally balanced men. Conversely, it is through future young girls that great social change will be brought into the world. Energetically speaking, it is the feminine that carries the vision of synthesis and the masculine that will build it. This is the generalized blueprint of future society. It will be a world in which the masculine principle serves the feminine principle, so that we are now seeing is not a decline of the family unit, but a complete redefining of what family really means. Family is the structure that creates an aura of tenderness across the planet, empowering individuals and supporting communities simultaneously. In the future, family will no longer be an isolated tribal phenomenon, but a collective breath pattern that unites all human beings. This is the future that is coming. It is the same vision that Christ held as the natural state of humanity. It is what he referred to as the kingdom of heaven. The 37th city is unique among the cities in that it does not manifest through a single individual. It is the heart of the human family, drawing all individuals into its infinitely soft and loving embrace. It is not a force outside of humanity, as we have assumed for so many eons, but is our collective inner nature. As a vital aspect of the genetic codon family known as the Ring of Divinity, the 37th gene key has some very powerful genetic programming companions. The 22nd city of grace, the 36th city of compassion, and the 63rd city of truth. Each of these codes brings the eventual manifestation of the full divine being into the world. As we move beyond the tribal and blood definitions that have dictated our traditional lifestyle for so long, we will see how limiting our current definition of family really is. The 37th city is an upsurge of consciousness that will slowly unite human beings as the 55th gene key frees us from our victim consciousness. Tenderness is a force to be reckoned with, and as its programming partner, the 40th city of divine will testifies. It is a force that has us all set in its sights. It is the very softness. In its very softness, it is unsurmountable, invincible, and inevitable. So, love Richard Rudd and his poetry. So here we go. On to transmute our weakness so that we can fully see each other's equality and find the tenderness that emerges from within as we become true human family. And that is the magic of this new moon that is ushering us into this eclipse season, activating the North Node, and helping us realign our intention. It will be a magical experience. It already is. I can feel it so powerfully in my life. Like every minute, every moment, every time in space feels filled with love and joy, excitement, gratitude, innocence. It's this playful energy that if you let yourself tap into, there is nothing but miracles. Wormholes and miracles. Wormholes that lead to miracles in your life. I can tell you this shit works, okay? Because I'm experiencing it in my life right now. The path to fully stepping into your design has everything to do with just surrendering to learning from your design. Not trying to control it, not trying to redefine it, not trying to make it work for you, but allowing it, letting go of the control and letting the design guide you, not you guiding it. And when you do that, when you get out of your own way, and when you surrender to the right timing, that's when you'll find yourself at the right place, at the right time, with the right people and the right community, and you'll feel seen and you'll feel heard and recognized and loved, and you'll feel satisfaction in your life, or you'll find success, or you'll be at peace, or you'll just be in this space of wonder and awe at the magic and the beauty of it all. Let's go there. Yeah? Let's go there. I think we're already there. We just need to shed our skin, like the snake. Let that shit go. You don't need to look back at it. You don't need to go back to it. It doesn't exist anymore. Stop carrying it with you. Sat Nam. Thank you guys for being here. Welcome in all the new subscribers. So happy you feel in alignment with this community. It's a really beautiful space that we all co-create together. And I'm so excited. Welcome to this like new world. Happy new moon in Pisces. Hopefully I will see you on Thursday for the Nile River initiation in the Moon Goddess training. Please reach out to me if you really want to do it. We'll figure it out. If you really feel like you need to be there, connect with me. And for everybody else, let's see what happens. Let the games begin. Just kidding. But I love you guys. I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you. And if you feel called to share this video out, please do. And I hope that you have a beautiful and amazing new moon in Pisces. And I will see you soon. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the human design of this moon and see how it's going to be affecting us. So Satanam, 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 Waheguru.